posting things on Facebook or in the lifts that are already saturated. Like you walk into a lift and it's just completely covered with posters. It's not the right way. So the first thing I would do as a member of student government is ask people, either by informal poll, a Google form, using the existing methods to find a new, better method. Asking people how they want the information to be delivered to them so that they can be better informed about the things that we're doing as a student government, and so that we can serve them better. Because I think communication is really key here. And so if we know the best way that we can communicate, we can use that feedback to be a more effective student government. And I think that also goes with trust. Your second question, I know I'm not answering it, but I'm going to answer it. The trust, I think that that's not something that's given to us because we have a stamp on our name that says we're the student government. I think that's something that's earned, and I think that can be earned through listening to people, listening to the issues, and then acting upon that. So as a member of student government, as part of this survey, I would ask, how do you want to be communicated, and what are the top 3 issues that matter to you? And then come together as a council and focus on the key things we want to achieve this year, and then go back and update people on those things so that they know that we're working hard and it hasn't been forgotten, but it's on our mind, we're working on it, and continue to update it through the communication methods that they express would be better.
Thank you. We'll go and then.
Yeah, I agree that trust is something that you have to earn, because it will follow through the deeds that student government has done before, and I really applaud the projects that student government has already done, taking out the Sunset Clause agreement and advocating for open housing, and going for the common curriculum review and Latin honors. So these are the things that help build trust for students, that student government is a platform where they can bring their views, ideas, their problems, and they can help them solve it. So if we can build this trust more, if we can do something better for the college to build a better community, then I think participation will increase, as will the trust.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
No.
Yeah, she's, I guess, yielding. Like, okay, I'm going to speak first.
Yeah, I'm just going that way.
Okay,
Should I speak then?
are we going in order?
I don't know. Are we?
No, we're going.
No,
Ananda's next because you put your hand up.
Sure. Okay. So, I guess I agree with Sarah a lot, and I think I haven't thought of that strategy, but it's great to ask people what is the best medium of communication. The other thing that, at least in my friend circle, I've seen in apathy is because they feel like the question is, what do you guys even do that we should, care? And for that, I feel that we have to deliver. When we actually do concrete things, people will notice that the student government is doing something that's important, so let's go contact them. I mean, just going forward with my mascot thing, like if they see the mascot at the basketball game, which is happening right now, they're going to ask the student government to be like, hey, I'm having an event next Saturday, can I have the mascot there as well? And I feel like that's how, by doing tangible, concrete things, we can kind of advertise the student government much more than a poster in a lift can. So I just wanted to add that to Sarah's point, which was brilliant.
That was almost precisely what I was going to say. Wow, well done. But I was going to say sorry. I wanted to say that if student government wants to be more visible and to decrease apathy, then it should be more visible. And like Anna said, do things that actually affect student life tangibly, visibly. The mascot is a great example of that. Something Sarah said earlier was having the open office hours, which people have tried before but were not very successful. But I think perhaps in a cozier setting, in a regular setting, like Sarah mentioned, inviting someone up to your suite. My suite is really nice. I have a fish. What? Oh.
Shouldn't say that.
I may or may not have a fish. I have a plant. But anyway, all of that to say, having face-to-face communication. But I really agree with Anandita in just doing more actively. And I think Michael said it, he was gone now, but to be a bit more proactive in pursuing things, because if the government is actually getting things done, like tangible things done, then people will take notice. It's going to be very difficult to make people care about an organization that like talks a lot, but doesn't do a whole lot. And I'm not saying that that's something the past government has done, but I think that's something we can improve upon.
Thank you. Anyone else want this quick? We'll go Glenn then.
I think right now what the government's been doing is like let's say for this event, we keep inviting people to come in and sit in. I think, you know, that's all fine and good, but at the same time, if we want to be visible, like actually be the ones going out there and talking to people, rather than asking them to come in, we go to them instead. And that could be a way of just reaching out in general. And of course, getting shit done, like everyone else has been saying. I mean, that is important too. Like, if we don't do anything, then no one's going to give a crap.
Well, thank you. Sarah.
So I think maybe one way is like building on what everyone says, getting shit done and getting people to know that you're getting shit done. So it's like just playing up to the strengths of the government and like making sure that people know that we did this already. And so like to highlight that the government is indeed effective and efficient. And I think a second way to like get people to calm down and all this, I think we can make use of the fact that we now have like 3 residential colleges which are almost full, and instead of always playing up to the disadvantages of that, Pulau Cendana and all that. So instead we could play up the strength of that. So perhaps we could have meetings which are in each college, you have consecutive meetings at the same time. And so to ensure that people can only have to simply go down their list and they will reach like where they need to get their voices heard. So I think it's just like making sure that we play up to the strengths of the bigger student population that we have and making use of the spaces around us.
Thank you.
Okay, so I agree with what the other candidates have said, but there's this one observation of mine that I don't know if it rings true, but it's also unfair. I think the student body believes that the student government should be this omniscient entity. Like they think we should not be approaching them to know stuff. They believe we should already know the things that they need fixed, which is kind of unfair. So the thing is, I don't know how much keeping on badgering them to know, how do you want us to know stuff from you would work just as well. But what I think would do is, I agree with the point on tangibility. What I would encourage is more physical interactions with government rather than lesser ones. So you could have government interactions at fairs, you could have a government booth. Every residential college has a college dinner once a month, if I'm not wrong. Yeah? So a government presence there would be helpful. When we have elections, not just voting for candidates, you could have the student body voting on pointing out issues that matter to them as well. So kind of clubbing in student government activities with a student's daily life instead of making it something that they imagine they need to set time aside for to contribute to. That would, in my thinking, really enhance student participation in government.
Thank you. It seems everyone else is gone. So.
I think in terms of increasing civic participation, I think it's just more so less moving forward. I think if I was a student government, would be focusing more on quality versus quantity. I mean, it's all fine and well with all these open drop-in sessions, all those things, but really, how much time do you feasibly have? Like, instead of having, like, even this lecture forum has been spammed, I think, 4 times this week, and there were posters in every lift, but like, this is one of 2 events that have been past fortnight, and honestly, how much time do you really have? And for me, it's in my philosophy that really, if we want people to turn up, we have to sort of respect people's time and be like, hi, we have this one event that's once a semester or twice a semester. This is the only event where like we will all be here, and this is the big announcement event. And then people will see, okay, it's only 2 hours a semester. That's a great commitment. I can stick with that. That is realistic. And that is my personal philosophy that I want to carry on in the government. It's decreasing quality, but rather decreasing quantity, but increasing the quality of these interactions that we have between the students want to have with us, or the interactions that we want to have with students.
Cool. Thank you. So I'll ask a question, and then I think Isaac, and then we'll throw open to the floor, because I'm sure Patrick will has many. Okay. So my question will be, so a lot of you have been understandably focused on the student government as the student's voice within the college, right? But it's also in many ways the representation for the student body outside of the college. You're approached by external people and stuff. How do you have any plans? Do you see it as the student government's role to interact with other institutions, like, of course, NUS, Yale, that sort of thing? And if so, how? Or if you don't think that is part of the role, why not?
Clarification, are we interacting with the institutions directly, or are we interacting like NUS Student Union, that kind of interaction? Or like literally like the public affairs office of like
It would likely be the student union, but it's not inconceivable, like we talk to public affairs sometimes. So you can take it as you want, but both have been known to happen.
I think something Anandita was saying earlier was about reaching out. Sorry, I don't mean to steal your point. It's a great point. About reaching out towards our parent institutions, Yale and NUS. And there is a post within the government of external communications person to coordinate with CAPS, the media, and also other parent institutions. So although none of us mentioned that, I definitely agree that we are the voice of Yale and NUS, and we should be conscious of that when making opinions, because again, we're very new. So I don't necessarily see the student government's role as being an advocate for Yale and NUS out in, like, I don't know, the Singapore community, as in going out into that. I think that administration has that covered, and we can certainly coordinate with them. But I think obviously if people approach us, then I think we'll hopefully have a mandate from the student body to represent their interests, but not necessarily to go seek out into the broader community.
I guess just building off of that, so I did mention in my platform that to just contact our parent institutions especially, and I really like the how aspect of your question, because I feel that a lot of times the student government wants to do those kind of collaborations, but we just don't know how or what's going to be the result of that collaboration. And I did mention that a little. I feel that the traditions that these major universities have, some of them are like actually really cool, and like I don't know much about them, but like there's a spring festival where the freshmen get to like interact with other freshmen, organize events, stuff like that. And